should go like
Good
that.
day, good day. Hey, everybody. All hail the Queen. We have a new winner of the world. Thanks for joining us. We are Tally the Votes, and we are here to talk about Australia versus the World season finale. Um, yeah, let's just jump right into this. I don't have a whole lot of notes for today. I just really wanted to hear what everybody thought about this season as a whole and how we feel about the winner and also what we think is going to happen moving forward after having something as big as this. Will we see it again? What's in the future for some of these players? And I would also like to wish a fond farewell to our dear JLP. So here we are. Got my ride or dies, David and Christy. Take it away.
I
Make
think this.
Survivor great again. I mean,
I,
this was outstanding. It
I think
shouldn't have
best
been this
season in a
good.
long time, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just even by Australian standards, just so enjoyable.
Yeah,
I
I think it was too. And I think that I kind of feel like what it really did successfully was not just pick big players, but I think that they picked players that best represent each country's version of Survivor. It's one thing to have like big names. Of course, Tony is a big name in the franchise altogether,
David's a big
but
name.
right. But these people are like, when you think of Survivor, first ones that come to mind. If there's any more that come to mind, they've already played in Australian Survivor.
Right.
So we've already seen them. So I think they did a great job with bringing in the cast that they brought in.
I loved two of the three internationals. I thought were terrific, and one was kind of lame.
Well, I think that I know who you're talking about when you say kind of
We
lame.
all know who you're talking about.
But one thing that I did actually find really delightful about her is that she comes from a Survivor franchise that is literally just one and done.
And yes,
You know,
Yeah,
so
a dead franchise, right? So she's like,
right. But she came
she
into it
loves
with
the game so much
but she
right.
was fangirling the entire time.
because they only have the one season.
Yeah.
She's probably watched the seasons from every other country, just trying to
Yes.
get it all.
And and realistically, if you've come from someplace like Australia or like the US for instance where it's just like you've had so many seasons, when you have played, most cast members, not all of them, but a large portion of them, they're in that circuit. They're doing events together. They cross each other's
Well, that's,
paths
yeah,
left
the
and right.
Australians all know each other.
I mean, like we've heard the story. I
The
mean, I think
Americans
most
do too.
and I think most of us have heard the story that like George, like one of his favorite players was Jerry, and he got to meet her at a convention and she blew him off. Like so he got to have all of that without cameras in front of him. But I think with her, she's like, this is the first time she's meeting these people. She hasn't crossed paths with them. You
Okay,
know, like,
but in fairness, neither has Cass, and Cass couldn't have given AF about Parv
well,
or Tony, or she was there to play and win. This
sure,
other
but
girl
I don't think
she
she
was
was.
happy. She was the Academy Award winner that was happy to be nominated.
I think that Cass is just more of a gamer. I mean, plain and simple. But I'm not saying there's anything. I'm not saying there's anything bad or good or in the differences between the two women. It's just that one is like literally living in a world where she's not even going and meeting other players of the game in her own country.
Sure.
Like it's like you went to school one time at a school, and then suddenly you leave that school and then you're meeting all these other people that graduated from different schools. It's just it's your eyes are going to get pretty big over, a 16-day game. I think if they were playing
She's
50
like,
some days, by the end she'd be over it.
but because she's by herself, she's like the one homeschooled kid, and
Yeah, she
everybody else went to
is.
high school
Yes,
together.
yes.
You
So
know what I
much
mean?
so. Yes, 100%.
So
That's
she's just
perfect.
like,
She's
other
like, oh my
people.
gosh.
And Quebec had 3 seasons. I wanted to look that up real quick just to see.
And to be fair, I think Cass is I think she's in her own category, like
Well, that's what. Yes, she was a. I just think she was a far stronger competitor.
there's
Even
let's put it this way. I think that if New Zealand had 3 seasons, the winner of the first season might not be the one that was picked to come into this game.
Yeah,
That's probably, I don't know. That's my thought. She might not have been the one picked.
Neither of you
What
have
if
seen AU. I guess it's season 3, but the first season on the channel it's on now.
Yeah.
You've not seen it?
The first season? Yes,
Yeah.
I did. That was the
Well,
very first one Paramount had, and then they cut them all.
the one where Christy won.
Yeah,
oh that
but
one I
But
is
here's
that
what's interesting: she's never played again.
yeah.
I mean, she won the first
Well,
season on there, and she came out of nowhere to do it in probably the best tribal council ever in Survivor's franchise.
yeah.
and then she was like, eh.
Well,
Okay.
what's interesting is, did they not want her back, or did she not want to come back?
Or maybe she just wasn't available. I mean, like some people can't leave work or their family, or it doesn't
Or
work, you know?
maybe she's traumatized by the whole experience. She's like, yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, no thanks. Not for me. Yeah, it's I've got to say
Okay.
that you do have some interesting things that are coming to light, having these countries that maybe doesn't have as much of their own survivor, but these players all seem to be fans of the game outside of their country. So these American players, I mean, they've been on TV for how many years ago was Suri and Parv's first season?
But it seemed like the Australians were less impressed by that.
Well, yeah, because there was just as many Australians there, if not more, and they're having to fight for their own thing. I mean, it's like the Olympics, right? You go up against somebody that maybe it's somebody you idolize, somebody that you're like, oh, they're part of the reason why I wanted to do this sport or be a professional at this sport. But you got to put your game face on if they're like your direct competition,
Yeah.
you know? So, and also, I mean, like, come on, like Aussies are all a little bit more like, yeah, I'll show you.
Well,
Here's another thing in Lisa's defense. Okay, so we have 3 seasons in Quebec. That's still a current show. They are in develop. They're doing the 4th season right now. They're filming it.
Currently
It's
filming.
a
Okay.
current, yeah. Finland is now currently filming their 13th season. Okay, so
Oh, wow.
that means those 2 areas where they're from, they have a following. Okay.
doesn't
Yes.
South Africa have a long franchise, or am I wrong? I thought they had 5 or 6 seasons.
That one I did look up. But the New Zealand, for instance, the New Zealand of it all, was 1 season. She was the winner. It was 2017. If it got canceled and could not continue, and some of these other countries can continue long term, that means that they must not have done a very good job promoting it, and people didn't watch it, weren't into it.
Well, the
So
first
therefore,
2
she's
seasons of
probably
AU did horrible.
so she's not like
There are
she's
9
probably
seasons of South Africa.
so she's
Yeah.
probably not walking around her day-to-day thing and people going,
Getting
hey,
recognized.
survived. You see what I'm saying? I'm wondering if that's part of it, that she doesn't come already with that hefty confidence of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She didn't. No.
And I think the other thing that I have to kind of walk back is I've often talked about the shorter U.S. game at 26 days. This was 16 days. It was tight. It was exciting. They didn't fill it with a bunch of silly twists. It was excellent Survivor. So I think
Yep.
the length of the game is now, in my mind, not as important as what you're doing with the time.
With the
screen
time.
I
Well,
think,
that's life in general, right? It's not
Yeah.
it's not the amount of time you have. It's what you do with the time that's given.
I
Well,
think
yeah,
they
but
could have had a couple extra days if they wouldn't have had double eliminations. So, you know what I mean? Maybe that's, but yes, it did work. A smaller
you know what's
cast
funny
and
is there were just about as many episodes as this as there is of US.
yes, there
Because
was.
US runs 13
Yep.
episodes, there were 10 for this. So it's essentially was a slightly shorter US season.
Yeah, broke down to the episodes. I do want to say though, I think that the real we've talked about for the last couple of years that the production in AU is really tight about how they want to take one storyline and really move through that storyline. Sometimes that's a detriment to the truth of the game. We find out later. But as far as a
Like another
coherent
show
story,
we happen to podcast about.
yes, but as far as a coherent story goes, they excel in their ability to keep tight to a timeline, storyline, plot line, villains, antagonists, protagonists. They're so professional about telling that story, whether it's all truth or not, that you have that caliber of professionalism coming into a short season. You can see the boardroom chats right now, like what is important for us to show in this, where's the start, the middle, the end game, how important is it for us to weed out the international players or boost the Australian players. All of these things come into play. They're selling a product at the end of all of this, so all of this is going to come into play. I think where we're going to notice the real difference between how production runs things is not just in the, oh, here's a short season, look at how great they did. America's shorter season could run it's not the two short seasons put together that's going to be the real test for me, even though clearly Australia is tired already on this. It's going to be when we have season 50 of US Survivor, and these are all past players, and these are their version of the people who best represent the game. Because as much grief as I like to give you, David, and pick on you about your relentlessness against the American version, the new American version, there's a lot to be said on the caliber of who they casted, because there's lots of other people in Australia, US, international that they could have maybe plucked into the game, people who are really loud characters. Or like Simon, for instance, they could have thrown him in. He's great storytelling, but does he have the ability to Loctite a game that's this short and just go balls to the wall immediately and start making moves? Absolutely not. I don't think he has that ability. When we get season 50 of US, we've gone through it. We've done our own cast reveal on this. I feel like I can safely say that 90% of the people they cast wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, and two people from the immediate previous season we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Two people from 48. It's way too weighted heavily that far, and I know why it is. It's because he wants to hit his promised numbers.
And also the largest portion of people I think that are watching, I guess I don't know that for a fact. I am making maybe a broad assumption that the largest number of people that are watching the new era of Survivor, and I'm not talking about the people that are watching it like the next day, I'm talking about the people that are watching it on TV as it's playing, are new era fans. And therefore, we're going to pull people that they remember. They don't remember 15 years ago players. They're going to pull the people that are most relevant to the audience watching right now on TV while they eat their dinner. And in Australia, they're like, yep, we don't care. Other than George, who's been an immediate player. Yeah. I think it's more about who can handle the weight of what we are trying to accomplish in this short season.
Well, that's all why I hope they do more international things like this.
So do I.
It was really great. It's a great way to reward those heavy hitting players, the ones that do come out quick.
Yeah. I loved watching these ballers just cut each other out like instantly. There was no wasting time.
And isn't it funny? They were ruthless in the first half of the game, and at the end, they were not.
Well, there was a weird thing that seemed to happen throughout the game is that I think that there are certain personalities, someone like David, somebody like George, like you can see their winning path. Like it's very clear. You can see how they do it anytime they play any game. You're watching it happen.
Right.
You have somebody like Parv, and honestly, first of all, best game she's ever played. Second,
game probably by any U.S. Survivor player.
Yeah,
ever,
and second, she did not rely on the flirtatious. I'm an object of desire that can trick you.
But she didn't.
Except
with
Kirby.
Turn on it either. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like
she definitely played that card with Kirby.
I don't think she played that card with Kirby. I just think there was a little natural energy between the two of them. Like I don't think she played it. I just think that was natural. Like you're never gonna not convince me those two weren't a little like hee 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 about each other. So You're just not. Unless they point blank say to me, like, absolutely not, I'm going to always think there was a little spark.
Well, I mean, Kirby did say she felt like jealous girlfriend.
See? See,
So,
there it is. There it is. But
yeah.
I love that so much about this too. And this is interesting thing too is that like my husband, like even Deal or No Deal, like watching that, he's like, ugh, he's never liked her game. He's never been a fan of
Really?
hers. And like within the third episode of this, he was like, oh, she's my winner's pick 100%. She is killing this. So
I
interesting.
didn't think I didn't like her the very first season she played Survivor. I'm not gonna say I didn't like her. I don't quite remember. I don't remember being
Oh,
blown
They
away, if that
that's
makes
my
sense.
favorite season of hers.
they really really pushed the I'm a cute girl and I'm going to trick you with my
Yeah,
cuteness
And
thing.
she
Yeah.
was doing a thing where she was suntanning on her belly and showing her rear
Yeah,
end.
yeah. It was very like, look at me. Yeah.
sure. Which is probably why I was like rolling my eyes and
You're like,
going,
nah.
nah, whatever. But after once she played that second time, that was it.
Yes.
I've been a
Yeah.
fan ever since. Like, cause you just go,
Well, I mean, well, first of all, it's the anomaly. It's the 2%. It's the one all female alliance that worked.
well, and it's lots of players are just better the second time. The ones that know greatness can sometimes be like better on a second view, right?
It's interesting that of all the great players, there were lots of great players on this. I think we all would
Oh
agree
yeah.
with that. That she was the one who rises to the top. And I was watching an interview, and I forget who it was with, and David said to her, it was an interview somewhere, and he said her EQ, her ability to judge her impact on other people is so much higher than anyone he's ever met, that she instantly picks up on how she's vibing with a person and can adjust to it. And he goes, he's never seen it before with anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, and
Wow.
look at her track record too, really. I mean, just as far as the career that she's had doing these games,
Yeah.
you see her first game of Survivor. She did well in it. Then you see the next game of Survivor. She did much better in it.
Mhm.
Then what? What else do we have her in? She's been in and Traders. Look at Traders. She may not have played the cleanest game in Traders, but you cannot tell me that game did not teach her something on reading people
Mm-hmm.
and how to trick
And
people from reading you.
how to wear a headband.
How to wear your headband and slide people poison. Uh, and
And
then
then deal or no deal.
working alongside David as your alliance member, like she is taking notes and she's passing every single test.
And after that, because they kind of did, I feel like they were very friendly
Yes. Oh,
in
I
that
agree.
show.
Hmm.
So I wonder if they, before going out here, if they had talked, maybe not even knowing they were going to do this. I'm not trying to say that. Just saying, like you start swapping survivor stories, like what it's like for
Sure.
you, what it was like for and I wonder if that gave her some insight into just like the Aussie psyche of this game.
Yeah.
That part,
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
I'm sure it did have something to do with it. I I do feel like, and maybe you guys have your own things too. I feel like something that we missed out on in this was getting to see the two of them work together.
Yeah.
I
You know
would
Maybe,
have
what?
enjoyed that.
but I think if David would have stayed, I think she'd have gotten voted out.
She
Sure.
may very well
Yes.
have done that, but
I think him leaving lowered her threat level a
I
lot.
agree that that is a very large possibility. But I would have loved to see that thing unfold.
Yes, in another universe, that path was taken, and I would love to see what that looked like, them working
Yes,
together. But I do think in this universe, it was better for her that he not be there.
I agree. Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree on that. It was not good for him to have Sarah in the game. That's for sure.
No, well, no, because clearly she turned on him immediately.
I mean, and that's somebody who like they have a tie outside of the
Oh,
game.
and speaking of Miss Sarah, she was the one that was very spicy, wasn't she?
A little, yeah, there was some flavor.
She kind of, she kind of demolished Janine a little bit, didn't she?
Yep,
Yep.
yep. She really
And which is
pushed
funny
some
because
thoughts.
okay, so
Well,
going into this, we have so many things that we could talk about. Okay, so going into that tribal, Janine was feeling pretty confident. She talks. She's a
Oh,
keynote
she was
speaker.
too. Yep.
she felt very confident that she was going to be able to go in there and make a very solid argument for why she deserved to be there. And everyone asked her questions. She did pretty good. And then Sarah spoke to her and she flipped her upside down. I don't think there was any way she was ever going to recover from that. I mean, it didn't matter who the other two people were,
No,
you know?
I was pleased with the outcome. I mean, I thought it was a well deserved win. I got to confess I misread it. I honestly thought it was going to be a split vote with Parv winning by one.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, no, I was
You mean
convinced.
in the back and forth with the jury and them, you were reading the jury that they were
No, no, no.
very.
This was prior to the episode airing,
Oh, okay.
and I went back and forth with Scott with one T, and he was convinced Parv had the whole jury. And you guys have read the thread; you're both on it. And I said, that I thought Luke played a good game. I
Oh,
thought that
he did.
Shawnee, and I thought that Shawnee and who was Sarah, and the one other Aussie.
Well, you were right
Well,
about
everybody
Sarah.
but Kirby. Kirby was going to vote for Parv,
Yeah.
and I thought then the internationals would split. I thought Tommy would vote for
Luke?
Luke,
Did you
and
really? Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't
and then I
think that.
thought Cass would vote for Parv, and I knew Lisa, unless Sari was there, because she'd fangirl and vote for Sari regardless, then she would vote for Parv, which she did. And then it was really, in my mind, it was going to come down to whose ally got voted out. If Sari got voted out, she would vote for Parv, she'd win. If if Janine
Well,
got voted out, she would vote for Luke and he'd win. And I have to confess, Scott had a better read. It hurts me in
to
my
say that,
heart. It
um,
hurts me in my soul,
I
but he really did.
I think the reason why, and Cass she gave such a good little message when she voted, was that she got to see Parv playing from the inside because they were always on a team together.
Yep.
And she was so impressed with her playing. Like, there's a lot of stats she had in this, right? She was never really in danger. No one wrote her name down.
Well, yeah,
Like
and that's a pretty incredible accomplishment,
I
frankly.
will I will
she
tell
still.
you that my prediction was 2 episodes before the finale, I knew she had it. Where I was wrong
Well,
is I thought she was going to have a 0 vote game. But I knew if she goes to the end, she's got this, and she's gonna have a 0 point, like a zero vote game. I really thought her name was never gonna be written
and
down.
then Sarah had
What?
to steal it from you.
That damn Sarah.
Well, Sarah didn't vote her out. Sarah just voted. You thought she was gonna
Meaning no one
Yeah.
was
sweep.
ever.
Yes,
Yeah,
like I thought she was gonna sweep it. I really did, but she only lost the sweep by one. By one is pretty, from start to finish,
Well,
like
no,
all the way.
I
That's
have to say,
pretty
impressive,
amazing.
impressive, and I'll give Jamie credit for this. Jamie's convinced me of this over the years. Is at the end of the day, I don't feel like Luke got robbed. I feel like
no.
I wasn't there, and the people who played the game voted for the person they thought won. And so, as much as I like to watch and think my opinion matters, they really see what's
Okay.
going on 24/7, 365, and it wasn't even close.
And
Okay.
and like honestly, Luke is a
For
very
Shawnee to vote against Luke,
yeah.
they're friends.
That's what I mean. He's an incredibly likable person. Like he's a star in that world. It's not like somebody's going to give him like it's a bitter thing against him, you
Hmm.
know?
No, no,
Okay.
and none of them were bitter against him, I didn't
Right.
think.
No,
No, I
no,
don't
I
think
think
so
they were
either.
being very fair because look at the two tribes as they began the games in their individual tribes, okay? Luke was not the biggest threat on his tribe. He wasn't the second biggest threat on his tribe. He wasn't the third biggest threat on his tribe. I think that he was somewhere in the middle, and as soon as David went, he was on the bottom of his tribe. Parvati she was the biggest threat from day one. She
Yes.
stayed the biggest threat on
Well,
her
no,
tribe
David was the
the
bigger
entire
threat than
time.
Favre, but okay.
And
In
then
in their tribe.
Oh,
In
their
okay,
it,
tribe,
okay,
how
okay.
the
Fair enough.
internationals were looking at them. She was the biggest threat on their tribe. She was the biggest threat from day one, the entire game, and they never voted her out, and she never went to the bottom.
yeah, and
That's
she
that's that's the
and
difference in the game.
and this, I feel like this might have been like one of the winning statements that she laid out. Not even just her saying it, like people recognize it even if she didn't say it. Is the thing that she did have, which you mentioned, is that she was either the one that made everything happen or was always knowing what was happening. She never didn't know what was going to happen.
She was in the kitchen
Uh,
every
uh,
time.
I
every
agree with
decision.
that. I don't think she turned a single vote at tribal. I think everybody voted
Already
exactly,
realized that, yeah.
exactly how
seen
they
her.
went into that tribal going to vote.
Listen, her social game was impeccable.
It was great.
Impeccable. Like
Yep.
she spoke to everybody. She like even when she was telling it was so funny. Lone Wolf.
Oh, Tommy.
Yes.
Tommy,
Yes.
sorry. When Tommy was like,
That was
so
so
was
great.
never gonna
And
be a
then be,
Tommy Day Alliance. That was never gonna be a thing. That was
oh, I
never
love
gonna
it.
happen. And she was so diplomatic about saying, like, I'm sorry, Tommy. Like,
That was so
you're a
sweet.
great player. You're a great person. But for me in my game, no.
Nope.
And he
Nope.
was still like, okay. Like, I vote for you.
It's so good. And
And
in his poncho.
I love him.
I love Tommy. Yep.
I really do. And so, and and that was the other thing about this game, the idea that like you have all these returning players coming back and they're from all different places. They're trying to figure each other out. They've seen maybe each other play on TV, but they don't really know what it's like to interact with this person face to face. And they get out there and they played and they all looked like they were having fun and nobody was nasty with each other. There was no like beef, right? Was there any fights this year?
No, not really. I mean, the closest one was going to be Sarah and Kirby. I mean,
And it wasn't. They
realistically.
couldn't really have a fight because she just got voted out
Yep. Bye. Okay. Bye.
by
Now, what
Yeah,
one
one?
player.
Kirby played too hard, and she was ultimately going to go home.
I think like she played hard, but I do also think that if you look at her season when she jumped in and started playing hard, she was playing alongside Ferris for a portion of that game. And you're going to need that person next to you. I don't think she had that in this game.
Right.
I think had she would have been fine for longer at
Her
least.
problem was the two biggest threats on her team were out, and that created a vacuum. And so
Yep.
therefore she became the big threat, and she couldn't. No matter how
Well,
she
and she
worked with
was
people,
playing,
she
but she
couldn't
was
get
also
herself out of that
she
spot.
was also
Yep.
playing hard. She was talking to the other side.
But I
Everybody
think she
knew
would
it.
she would have done that no matter what.
If
It's
but if
because
she had
there was
she needed
nobody
a
else.
right yeah, a wingman.
Other
She
people to be
needed
playing hard on her
she
team, and
needed to
they just weren't.
pretend to be staying Aussie strong, and she didn't bother, and that's what I think killed her game.
Maybe, but
I'm not saying she had to stay there, but
I
she had to pretend and then betray him at a tribal. But instead, she made it very public that she was working.
I'll push back on that just a little bit. Yes and no, because I do think there was still some cross action with other players because that didn't raise the alarms with people. It never came into the game where we got a confession that somebody was alarmed by it. But what did happen, and we confirmed this at the end during Tribal, is that Janine is the one who was like, hey. And I loved the realization that Luke had where he's like, wait a minute, you're the reason why we didn't stay Aussie strong. It wasn't Kirby. It was going to be Kirby.
And she would have been
It,
gone. This
it
one
was
sitting right next to me right here.
yes. It was
would've stayed
gonna
strong.
be, it was definitely gonna be Kirby down the line for sure. But Janine's really one who turned on that switch.
Yeah, she did. Well, but is that really Janine's fault, or is Janine just trying to find some sort of leverage in the game? Because
Oh, you
they
gotta
stuck her
leverage
on-
whatever you
because
can.
they stuck her on the bottom. Maybe
Yep.
maybe when you get to merge, maybe pull your people in, and maybe don't make them feel like that you're afterthought, right?
Yep.
So, I
Absolutely.
mean, what was Janine supposed to do?
Yeah,
But yeah, it was her.
I think that Janine used the tools that she best, like the tools that she could use, she used them to the best of her ability. I think the move that she made was a savvy move. It's not maybe okay. So we can
I mean,
tit
it
for
got
tat.
her to the end.
Yeah, and you can tit for tat. We broke up Aussie strong, blah blah blah. Okay. But realistically, she felt like her neck was getting a little bit long and she had to do something to give herself safety, and she made the right move,
And
throwing
Luke, right?
Kirby under the
Yeah.
bus. It worked.
Yeah, they both got there. So,
Yep. I
even
I
Well, and I also, and you may have said this when I stepped away for just a second there, but I think the big difference in the game is Parv knew all that, and Luke was shocked by it.
yeah.
So that just goes
True.
to show the situational awareness was so much stronger.
Yeah.
So maybe that makes him feel better when it is a one to.
He's been really
Of like, oh,
good
wow.
about it.
And especially
Yeah.
when he goes back and watch, he might be like, "Oh dang, oh wow," and
The
like,
conversations that were had. I mean, we saw some conversations with Luke, but it feels like the majority of conversations Luke had were with Janine or Parvati, and that's it. Like that's it. Those are the conversations. Very minimal elsewhere. Whereas when we see somebody like Parv, Kirby, Janine, all of them, they're in every little
they're
conversation.
like just buzzing around.
I mean, I got to say, I didn't dig Janine's game,
Yeah.
and
It wasn't exciting.
and I felt like
dig it the first time.
Shawnee phoned it in this season. I don't know if anyone else feels that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she didn't really care. She wasn't there to win.
Is that because George was gone so quick, or
No.
What had him gone?
I'm going to tell you my thoughts of why it is.
I'd like to hear that because I haven't figured it out. But
Not like her
I
situation.
think it's because Shawnee, even though she brings her own things to the table, I'm not saying she's a replica, but I really feel, and I thought this the first time I ever watched her play, her game is a replica of Parv's. Parv is who she watched how to play this game.
in a lot of ways,
And
that's
fine,
accurate.
but she could have played that game. on
I don't
the
think
Aussie
she.
team.
I don't
So
think
her-
she knew. I just don't think she knew how to play that game with her in it.
And I don't think Shawnee, and I say this with all the sensitivity in the world, is I don't think Shawnee was in the same physical shape she was in the first couple times she
Agree.
played.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Remember when she did the Pilates and she was holding the thing up in the water and treading water for like ever? I don't think this season Shawnee maybe
that's
could have
right.
done that.
Pilates.
Right? And she
Every
goes,
day
Pilates, right?
Mhm, yep.
And she was that like Parv, for whatever reason, she's like as big as a whisper, but
And Parvati's like 15
She's-
years older
she-
than her, probably easily, right?
she's a lot like who was the gal that played with Ricard, whose name I never forget.
Shani, Shawnee, something. I don't
No,
remember. Yeah, I can't
She
remember.
was shot. Wasn't she Chantel and she went by
No,
Shanny?
but anyhow, you know who I'm talking
Anyway,
about.
yeah.
And
Yes.
she was a tiny, skinny girl, but she was wiry and tough and strong.
And
And
yeah,
that's how Parv is. I mean,
flexible
she
and
can just.
yeah.
I mean, she can just do these challenges.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen,
Probably could do a maze challenge too, like if she
I cannot tell you.
Started.
I cannot tell you the amount of joy that I felt every time we had to watch Luke get through a physical challenge.
Do you think that was real, or he's?
Oh, I think it's real.
I thought
you know
it was
what?
too.
I give him so much credit for the tenacity
Let me-
to
let me-
push through the pain.
Can-
But man, is it fun to watch.
Can we talk a little about the tribal comps, the final tribal?
Yeah.
Because I want to talk a little about the equity in the tribal comps, in the final tribal council. And I say this because they were standing on pegs, right? And they were
Oh, you
holding
mean
up
final challenge?
right, and they were
Yeah, final
holding
challenge,
a certain percentage of their body weight.
20%.
Right.
Yep.
Now, I will acknowledge that 20% is fair for everybody. Why are the pegs the same size for a guy that has a size 13 foot and a girl that is a size 7? Why aren't they adjusting the
Like they
peg
should be a
sizes
ratio.
proportionately so that everyone is the same? Why do they only do the weight?
Well,
Like, this is
I could
Clearly,
see the
Parv had a massive advantage in that.
I can see the eyebrow raise that might occur on that, but I think that also we have to recognize that this isn't like a platform, like, okay, it's something like Big Brother where you have like the wall and your feet are your platform to keep your balance. We know it's a little bit unfair for bigger people. That's part of the reason, is because their feet are so much bigger than these little bitty kiddos that have smaller feet and have a better overall grip. But
then they
with
have
these
their
are
challenges,
just
too, that are
right.
that are in
But
their favor.
These pegs, like this peg challenge itself is, that sounds funny, that's what she said, is it's this little space. So whether you're a size 7 or you're a size 13, you're still just taking up this little tiny spot on your heel
Yes, I agree with that. But
or your toe.
in Luke's case, you're probably putting 220 pounds on 1 square inch, and in Parv's case, maybe 100.
You're right. And we do see that smaller, lighter people do tend to
Yeah.
have a better ability in the game, but it
I mean,
doesn't.
even George thrived in this before
Yeah.
he became Dad Bod George.
Okay, and honestly, can I just tell you, Dad Bod George is one thing, but him rocking the banana hammock in the dad bod, the dad bod in the hammock was maybe a little more than I could handle.
Okay. This was not George's finest hour.
No.
I don't think George cared. I think he was in there just like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do it again. Everybody loves me.
The only part I loved about George's game was the Power Bottom Alliance, just for the
Right.
name. Right.
That's what I mean. I don't think that George went on this and said, I'm going to win.
Right.
I don't think he did.
He went on there to continue his character.
Yeah. And to push his book sales, go for it. If you have the opportunity, do it.
And to be fair, I think David kind of did that too. But
I mean,
David knew he was. I think David might have known he was going to be the host.
right. Oh well, no, I don't think that.
I don't
was
think
it.
he did.
But
I don't
Did you
think that.
believe what
He was gonna
Shawnee
be-
said at the end?
Yes. That
Oh
was
my
crazy,
God!
right?
The fact, okay, it's not just that Shawnee said it. It's the
You're like,
audacity to show it
Oh wait.
after it's been announced that he was booted.
Yes.
They did not have to do that. That
They
felt
did not.
like, why do you think that is? Where do you think, was that a mean jab or was that a thanks
No,
for everything?
That was absolutely a jab.
Who were the people at the final? Who were the final three? Janine, Luke, and Parvati. JLP.
LP,
Yeah.
yep.
Well, and here's
It's a
what's-
weird
here's-
world.
Here's
Dude.
what's interesting. It's Channel 10 that they're on, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently, this upcoming
Network 10.
season of AU Survivor is the last season that they have the contract for Survivor, and then it goes. They can go anywhere they want.
Wow.
And so the conspiracy theory is David will only host the 1 year, and then it'll go to a different network, and it'll be JLP again.
Well, I have to say that we don't
Oh.
want to be dropped and put on a different network, so we do have to pause for 8 seconds so that we can do commercial,
Sure,
and then
stop
we'll
talking
continue.
Well, that was the worst segue ever. All right.
All right, I feel like that's close enough to 8 seconds. All right, so JLP, dear JLP, where's he going to go after this? What do you think's next for one of the best hosts of any of these reality competition shows?
I don't know.
Do you
But I
think he's going to maybe do another one, like a
he
different
does.
show?
I think he has a good knack for it, and I really do hope he gets out there and does something. Honestly, in whatever he
Grab that cord, release the nutsack.
That was his best line ever. You know what? Whatever he goes on to do, I would check it out just because he's a good host. So, yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I really hope we get to see him again in something.
Oh, I think he'll be back. I mean, he could be. If Jeff was thinking of retiring, he could be the person.
They wouldn't even have to change the initials on the parking spot.
Right?
I'm just saying.
I mean,
Oh,
is
geez.
it conceivable that Jeff could be like season 50's it?
At some point,
I
the
mean,
man is.
that would be 25 years of doing this, right?
I would say at one point, retirement has got to take place. I mean, I would think not everybody's built to be Dick Clark.
Producer thing if he wants to, right?
He could still be a producer, but I always kind of thought that I mean, I didn't know of JLP; it wasn't a thing. But over the years, I mean, back, even 15 or so seasons, I was thinking, oh, I wonder how much longer Jeff's gonna do this. And so I would think about
I
people
thought
like,
it was a different JP that would be doing it. I thought maybe a Jonathan Penner or somebody would be good.
yeah, I thought for a while it felt like Malcolm was being brought around a lot,
there
like
was that.
showboated to be maybe the next host. So it's a thought that I've had over the years. but I mean, you would think he would retire, but I don't know. Maybe not. Like maybe
Well,
he's just going to go till he drops.
I could see him retire as the host, but staying out as the executive producer,
Oh,
which is
there's
honestly my nightmare scenario.
there's no way he lets go of his producer spot
No.
if he
Why-
stops
I mean-
hosting. Why would he? Why would any of
Why
us
would he?
really? It just doesn't make sense. If this is something that you've helped cultivate and you love doing it in some fashion, you're still going to want to have the control. It's just how it is. The Survivor gods hate Dave.
But
They might.
50
They might.
I don't know.
I just say my banner game is on point tonight.
But I do feel that 50 feels like a real like.
It does. Yeah.
Because let's get into the mind of America's JLP. And I do feel like, like the season 50 has like a real romantic number to it,
Wait a
right?
minute.
Like, like very, I don't know, like there's nothing that he can do that isn't going to be like somehow exploited as a big emotional
it's gonna he's
thing,
It's gonna be so much.
So like a season 50 seems like that might be the platform to walk on, to say
also-
goodbye.
But also, why does it have to be a man that takes over for him? Maybe it'd be one of the ladies.
It could. Who
know
would
what
it
I mean?
be? Who would
Well,
you
that'd be interesting,
have?
right? Why not?
Julie.
No, not Julie.
Julie
Imagine-
couldn't handle the sand in those stilettos.
I'm not saying this would ever happen, but imagine for a moment in your mind Sandra running those tribals.
Oh my
Come
gosh.
on. Did you see her on the beach? Love one another.
Not Julie.
But Sandra would be like calling them out. It'd be funny, but I don't think it would happen. Maybe Boston Rob could.
Cherie would be interesting as a host.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to say some things. I like Sari. I do. I think she was great in Traders. I thought that she's
in Traders.
I thought she was great. Her personality worked really well for her, and that
just
bring me
like
the info.
her.
Yeah, bring me the info. Bring me the info. I think that she makes an excellent partner in any of these games, but I don't think she has the solo tenacity to win any of these games. We've seen her in Big Brother. We've seen her play Survivor how many times?
Yeah.
And I feel like we can jump in and talk about her experience with fire. We've talked about the first round she had with it this season. Now she's jumped in at the end and she has to do fire again. I feel like she greatly improved.
I agree. Yes.
But
This is not a
she
TV.
becomes the
This is not a teepee. That's maybe.
That's
a
not a
wigwam.
teepee.
This is a
Yes, yes.
she becomes the first player in Survivor history to be eliminated by a fire making challenge not once but twice.
But twice.
Now, I'm sorry, you played 5 times. I said it last time. We talked about it for like 18 minutes. You learn
She
how to
feels
make
very
fire.
strongly about this.
Yes.
I just-
now
I just-
I do love, and I love that as they're saying their goodbyes to her. I mean, you could have scripted this better. As they're saying their goodbyes to her, her fire hits and the flag pops. Like
Yes.
perfect. So
Like it was giving her a send off, right?
it was so
All that
great.
said, I love her. I think she's probably a great person. I'd probably get
Yeah.
along with her. You're right. She's not winner level. It's not, all the pieces are not there for her.
Well,
But-
she has some of the same flaws and different flaws, but like George's game is flawed to the point that he almost can't win.
Yeah.
He can
Right.
get close. He can get,
Right. But here's the deal. The love fest between her and Parvati
So
at
much,
Final
yeah.
Tribal, I was about to cry. It was so beautiful that they're like, we're Survivor soulmates, and I couldn't have done this without you. Like how much they really could trust each other. It's so rare to have in these
Yes.
games, to have one person that you're like, do you know what I mean? You don't even ever have to second guess them.
You don't question it ever.
You don't have to. That sense of security is unusual in these games.
Christy, if I ever played Survivor with you, I would never have to question your loyalty.
And the two of you would vote me the F off in like 4 seconds. You'd be like, let's pretend we like Dave and then vote
You'd be
him
our
off, and
Tony,
we'll
we'd
keep
be like,
Dan.
okay.
We're gonna keep Dan and Scott.
But it's totally going to be a girls' alliance, right? I mean,
No,
come
like
on.
you would be like our
No.
version of like coach would be like he's creating enough of a scene, we're fine.
Yeah, yeah. Just we'll stay behind him till he's not useful anymore.
He's just standing there yelling at Jeff at every challenge like we're
No.
fine. No one's going to notice us.
And then when we did vote him out, it'd be because he didn't fit into our ladies' alliance. That's why. And we had to
Yeah, and as he walked out,
I'd be
we'd go,
98% on the way out.
we those 2% ladies.
we got this. I do also think that there is something like within the conversation that was happening between her and Sari. Like I think that she was like, I think part of the reason why it was so she was devastated to not have her sitting next to her is because I truly believe that she knows she may not have ever had the chance to win. Not this one, but her first round. She may not have ever had the chance to win if it wasn't for her. Like how detrimental, like what a massive part that had to play with her win.
Boosting her up, right, to get there. No, but I think she did that this game too.
Yes.
I really do.
Absolutely.
I think without Sari, I don't think she wins the game.
And Sari is actually like, even if Sari lacks something in her own game, I think the biggest thing she lacks in her own game is the ability to win immunity.
Yeah.
I think that's it because she does tend to have a fairly good sniffer for BS. There's lots of times we've seen Parv go to her with the thought, Kirby being one of them, where she's like, I'm really thinking about keeping her. And she's the one who said, yeah, but she voted out the two people closest to her.
Yeah, she keeps voting out her number ones. So.
I'm going to throw this out there because there's another very famous Survivor player who has won, who can't win a challenge. And so what is the difference between Sari and Sandra? Why can Sandra get over the hump?
Sandra is just so...
Because Sandra's a boss. She has intimidation. There is something about her that has intimidation. She's never wishy-washy. Like, even when she's contemplating different things, she never sounds like she's wondering.
So what you're saying is Sari's kind of floating a little bit.
Sari, I don't know that she necessarily floats.
In other words, Sandra's the shot caller. Sari recognizes the shot caller and cleaves.
No. That's not it. It's that Sandra, she's not winning at challenges either. But
she's not even trying at challenges, let's be honest.
But she walks around all the time like she's a winner.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, and I mean, if you look at, there's another thing that she has the ability to do, is that she can act like completely, like she's completely unaware of, okay, Russell Hans is a perfect example. The reason why she did so good up against him is because she was the only single one that never fell for his BS. Literally everybody around him fell for it.
She acted like she'd been dealing with his BS for years and knew him.
Yes. And I think that's part of her ability in the game is that she can put on a, oh yeah, absolutely, I got you face, but like she's not fooled. She's not easily fooled by those types of personalities.
I mean, but we've met her daughter, but I'm gonna say her kids, they had a tough mom, man. They didn't get away with nothing.
Yeah. I agree. And like I said, she's a boss. She is, you know what? Like she walks in, she goes, nope, that's mine. Rice, don't think so. Dumping it. Hat, bye-bye in the fire. She's pissing on everybody's shoes and she's making eye contact while she's doing it. I think that just gives her enough of an intimidation. It takes a while for them to come at her. But you have to remember, she won, but she's consistently voted out in the middle of the game, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, Sari never seems to get over that hump. And George can't either, right? Like, George can connive his way there, but then he can't get votes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Sari, she's got the social, the strategy, but because she comes off weak in challenges, they taint her with the weak. Like
so let me throw this out there. I'm sorry, Jamie, finish your point, then I'll throw it.
She's also always connected to a much bigger target, so she gets taken out to weaken the big target.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's imagine a world where it would have been Suri and Janine making fire. Maybe Luke, Parvati takes him for some reason, right? So Janine goes home, and it's Suri, Parvati, and Luke. Does the outcome change one vote?
No.
No,
No.
I don't. I don't think so either.
Nope.
How about
Although
if Parv
Janine
is
may have voted
gone?
for Luke, though.
Luke, it's Luke, Suri, and Janine.
Luke has it.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I
Yeah.
think that's right.
Yes,
That's
and I
a
think
fair
that would
read.
be. I think that would be fair,
So
actually.
Yep.
Luke literally beats anybody except Parv.
Yep. That's how I feel.
I think
Yeah,
that's right.
I think because I think all the other people who could have beat him were already voted out. But you know
Yes.
what I mean? Like
Well,
there's
Well,
yeah,
like
and
no, I'm
the
talking about what once we get to the
yeah
final.
yeah.
how many people did we have in jury? Because I thought of this later, so I didn't actually. How many people were sitting in jury
Oh,
were
list.
Australia?
I have the list. Hang on. I actually took notes because I thought it was going to be a split
I'm
vote.
so glad you did because I was like riding the Oregon Trail and had no paper or pen to
Why
take
did I
notes.
Okay, there
think
was
you?
7. So the vote was 6-1.
So there were 7 Australia players.
No. There were 7 total players.
Okay,
There
so
were 3
how many were
internationals.
Australia?
There were 3
Three.
internationals, and there were 3 Australians and Suri.
Okay, so
Right,
there were
so
technically 4 international,
four
yeah.
internationals, 3 Aussies on
So
there.
she pulled 2 Aussie votes.
Yes, she pulled Shawnee and she pulled Kirby, which was obvious to anyone who watched the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
had she not played the best game, she was getting Kirby's vote.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so I was just curious on that. Like, I had forgotten what the numbers were, which
Yeah,
I
and
feel
that's
like
why.
it's more impressive for a group of people that were like, Aussie strong, Aussie strong, Aussie strong, Aussie strong. Oh, we're giving it to the American. You know? Gotta say, that
No,
means you played a damn good game.
and that's why I tell you I misread it because I thought for sure they would stick with the Aussie strong, except
I thought
Kirby.
they
So
would.
I said,
I
well,
thought they
she's going
would
to start
too.
with 2 votes. She's going to start with 2 votes,
I
and then
fully
it really I thought it would come down to how the internationals broke.
I fully expected since the second this game started that the Australians were going to win. I think I've even said that. I just felt like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I just felt like home court advantage. There's 6 of them, and there's the next largest
Yeah.
group is just 3. So I thought like things are kind of in JLP's their guy. Not that he's not great, but do you know what I mean? Like they have much more familiarity.
I think that if the Aussie team had won 2 more challenges, you would have been right.
But so yeah,
But they had to go to tribal 2 more times. That really cut them down. Like that's, they can all say, "Oh, we broke it when Janine did this or Kirby did this." They broke it when their best players were the first. Like they had to cut their best players.
because they were so afraid.
I mean, and they had to do it. Why? Because they went to tribal. Like everything
Well,
always boils down to in this game is loyalty and like there's a mix of loyalty, social game, and the physical part of it. If
But it's
you
when to take them out at the right
yes,
time, though.
and if but at the bottom line, even if it doesn't even always matter the timing because at the bottom of it, if you physically don't beat the challenge, you have to cut somebody on your team out. Period.
So
It
who should have
automatically
gone home
weakens
that
your
first-
tribe.
that first vote, who should have gone home that first vote then?
I
For
feel
the
like
Aussies.
for the individual players,
Janine,
yeah, I think for the
She's she might be stronger than Shawnee though.
for the individual
well, either
players,
one.
they picked
George?
for the
George.
George maybe for the individual player they picked the right people to cut because of the threats to
Yes,
themselves.
they did, but I'm just saying to keep Ozzy strong.
If this game had been a full season, I do not think those players would have been cut first.
I think it would have been way different. I agree
Yeah.
with you. If it would have been a 48-day season,
They're
Yeah.
gonna hang on to the meat and
They'd have been
potatoes in that
upset.
tribe,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah. So again, an interesting change of how the dynamics swivel around for a shorter season.
Now it was very, very short, so they didn't do the one thing that I really like that Aussie does that the US doesn't do, which is
Transfer.
have the families come to watch that
Oh, yeah.
final competition.
I love that too.
I always find that nice that they're not included because when they would do the family visits on US, they would often like include them in the competition.
Yeah, they did do
Yeah.
that sometimes.
But I like the Aussies that they get to come and they get to be the
Oh,
spectators and
and
cheer
some
for
of
them.
those
And
some of those challenges when they saw their loved ones up there
oh,
just dying,
brutal.
standing there, and they were just, you could tell their hearts breaking for them, and they're just like, I want to tell them to come down, but I can't.
Right, and but them being there, I think, gives them a little more gas in the
I
tank.
mean, you got to say the final challenges on AU are
Oh,
much more brutal than anything the US
well,
does.
Yeah.
Luke said it. They're torture devices.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And they really, really are.
I
One of the reasons
I
why
have
we
to
say we love
agree that I do like the dynamic of having a family member there. I feel like far less as an entertainment value because I don't really feel like it gives anything more or less to that. But for the player that is up there going through it, I think it's immensely special to have their loved ones see that in person and just be gobsmacked with what that person
yes.
can do. Because you see it on TV and you might be impressed, but it's not the same thing as standing in front of them and watching them cry and push
First of all,
through it.
You've just hugged them and smelled them.
Yeah, ew,
And
right?
now-
Oh, and they smell bad.
Yeah, and so that's a cool aspect because the way the Aussies do it, they come out, they watch that final challenge, and then they're kind of nearby so that they can come out.
Oh,
after
and
the
when they've
winners
gone and
announced,
had to
right?
pick them up off the sand after when they can't walk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's some good TV.
I mean,
yeah.
and like let's talk about that with this final challenge, the torture device. Luke, again, yes, I can laugh and joke about how silly it is to listen to his like groans
Yeah.
and grunts throughout the whole
Oh,
thing.
he really
But
was
my
trying.
God, he gives everything he has to it.
Well, and
Not
that's-
not everybody can like remove the pain from the front of their brain while they're going through it.
But at
And
that point-
he's an example of that because Parv can meditate away from that pain and he isn't trained to do that. So when you see him still pushing through it and not escaping the pain, it is impressive because he went until he literally rolled out.
They couldn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
And let's also give him some credit. He won 3 immunity challenges in a
Yeah.
row. When he would have gone home on any one of those
But he
votes.
only, let's be fair, that is true. The consequences are true. But he only started winning the immunity challenges once the other physical people were gone.
Yep.
Parv was always there.
She was.
Yeah, true.
And she won the last one, which proves she was
did,
always a physical
But when
threat.
Tommy
She
was
is a
there
threat.
and Cass was there, there was more people.
A
to
few
take
more,
it.
yeah, a few
Yeah.
more big hitters out there.
Well, no, he won over Tommy because that's why Tommy went home.
But Tommy won over him too.
Previous, the immediately previous to that, that's true.
Right, but I'm just saying, in general, he started winning 3 in a row when no one else was really there to take it from him.
Yeah, he wasn't at the top of the threat list physically, but he was able to manage to keep some threat level.
I'm just saying 3 in a row is impressive. I don't care
It
who
is.
you are.
It is.
And I don't remember what the challenges were. What were they? Anyone want to hazard? a-
They were balancing things. He was doing the.
Yeah, I mean, it was challenges anybody
the-
could have won. It wasn't
Yeah.
like he had a big physical advantage.
Well, only that his gait was longer, so as a taller person, so maybe those steps he's making less steps back and forth.
Yeah, but he actually
Yeah.
lost that challenge. Who did he lose it to when he played? I can't remember, but he lost that challenge when he played it the first time.
No, there was another one though.
The one with the
like
ball where you have to run up and down the stairs.
Yep.
Well, he won the one.
That-
where it
the
was
one with you-
cubes that you had to walk through the grate and not tip it, and then
That was so close. Shawnee should have won that.
yeah. But no, I mean, Luke's a good player, and I'm not disappointed that I
Well,
would have.
and that's
It's
you
just
know-
Parvati played a better game. That's all.
Yep.
It's interesting because I would love to see the U.S. do something like this, but I don't think they will.
But they would need to do it like this. This is the blueprint.
But they won't.
Don't-
But that's
Right.
that's not what he wants. That's not where he wants the show to be anymore.
That's fine.
Yeah, and I also think that there is something to it that there's, like parent companies like Paramount and so on that one has to get through in order to make something like that happen. And Channel 10 might just have a little bit looser reins on being able to pull in other
Maybe
international networks.
Yeah, it's true.
But all in all, I think this season was fantastic. It was a great one for JLP to have if you had to go, this was a shining one for him to walk away from.
Really an embarrassment for Channel 10 that after his performance this season, they sack him.
Yep. I mean, the joy he has in his laugh when they walk up to some of these challenges is one of my most loved things about him. Just something about that, like, maniacal chuckle, that is so real.
Yes. It's like he gets that it's serious, but it's also a game. And I feel like Probst too often is like, you gotta dig deeper, because it's
like, it's life or death.
Life on the line.
And JP's like, it's only a game, but let's have fun while we're playing it.
Yeah, And maybe that in itself might just be the overall difference in spirit. We see these players in Australia all the time. As soon as somebody has doesn't do well, they don't go, ah ha ha, you sucked at this. It's all like, oh, bad luck, Jerry.
Good try, mate.
There is a real there's a real sportsmanship to their competitions. They're really competitive. It's pretty rare to see a single player that does AU that isn't just really competitive.
Has there ever been a Cerie player on AU who doesn't care if they win and
maybe a little bit here or there? They just
I don't know. Sarah appears to be in pretty good physical condition. I mean,
I think that she said Sandra.
I said Sandra.
Oh, I forgot she.
Has there been a player like Cerie played the game who didn't care if they won? I said Sandra, but it's funny that she's the one other American player. I think that the way
there are a few. There are a few here or there, but they do tend to be
George. I guess George isn't a physical threat.
Yeah, and
tries to be.
But they do, whatever they lack in that, they do tend to have some dynamic personality to take its place.
They're never sore losers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But on US Survivor, we have seen sore losers.
We certainly have. We certainly have.
They break the thing and everything. Stop on it.
Were you all bothered by Parv consistently saying she lost because of a bitter jury?
No, I wasn't bothered.
And I'm like, that's bullcrap. You lost because you didn't manage the jury. Let's be honest with yourself. It isn't a bitter jury. You made them bitter.
I'm not bothered by it because this is such an old school attitude of the game. So it is what it is.
She says that. Cerie says she's the greatest player to never win. Okay? That's these people, they have ideas of themselves. Sandra says she's the queen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of these players, they have their slant on from their own perspective of how they played their game, how it went for them, how the story was for them. They were in it. We can say different as a viewer, but we were not in the game.
Right.
So,
but the point is, if the jury is bitter, managing the jury is the essence of the game. The rest of it is really bullcrap.
Well, she does bring up,
and she does have the votes.
She says that though, David, but at the end she does say the end of the game is out of your control because it's all about how you left people feeling.
Right.
So she does recognize it.
That's what she learned between this win.
Yeah, I think she recognizes it, but I think saying bitter jury is like her little catchphrase,
saying they're bitter because, and not that it's their fault, but maybe she's saying
bitter can be an honest feeling based off of what she did to them.
But if they were bitter, it's because of how she behaved. No.
But that's the thing. One can say that somebody is bitter while also acknowledging that you didn't do a good job to make them not mad at you. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, and maybe that's where she's at, but it doesn't really matter because she won the world and she learned her lesson from not managing that jury.
What will she do after this? She's done all the other shows.
And she's not on 50.
Yeah, you know what?
Ask her on the 50. They're stupid.
Yeah.
They don't have
dum-dums.
or Rob on 50. That doesn't. I don't know.
I still.
Rob is he's not who he once was.
It doesn't matter. He is the name of. this is why it's wrong for Rob, because Rob is the face and name of all of the podcasting, he is everything outside of Survivor that makes Survivor and Big Brother exist. Point blank, period, the end. Every single alum from the game that goes in to do post interviews goes to him. Half of his podcasters.
Oh, you're talking about Sesternino.
Yeah, are part of the
I thought
game.
He was talking about Boston Rob.
Boston,
Yeah,
no.
no,
Oh,
he's
sorry.
done. He's busy talking about things he doesn't know on Big Brother.
Boston Rob at this point, I could beat in a competition because he's
That's why I'm
53
saying,
and
yes.
doughy.
Yeah, he's
He's
done.
never going to be asked back because, like you said, too much conflict of interest or too close,
Yeah.
right? Like just too much power in that, and
Yeah,
I don't know.
you don't want to be the guy that like totally screws over the guy who's going to give you all of your like chances to continue like this realm of things later. Like,
I
yes.
have him talk all kinds of kinds of dirt after the fact, right? Like,
All right, well,
but Parvati, could you imagine her coming in there having won the world?
yeah,
If they
They'd
had
vote her
to-
out right
probably
away.
get Killed, but
They'd vote her out right away. But I don't know, because half of these players, I don't think they're going to realize what they're up against with her, because I don't think they've ever watched any seasons except for their own.
so just before we wrap up, let's talk about winners picks. We all had our first winners pick eliminated,
Yep.
but Jamie Joe did pick Parv as her second pick, so I'm
She
going to give her a
did.
slow clap.
So good job.
Thanks. I enjoyed the slow clap because, like I said, I stand by it. It's, as soon as she voted Kirby out, I was like,
Listen,
she's winning the game. She's winning. Period.
At the point that you picked Parvati, if any of us had not had if our person had been eliminated, we probably would have taken.
Well,
Yep.
Your
by the time I got to repick, Parv was gone. I mean,
Yep. I already
Right.
taken her. Yep.
because my original pick lasted longer than Jamie's. So.
Well, I took the person who, and you know what? This might be my thing moving forward. It's like if your team gets kicked out of the series, then you better damn well root for the team
And
that won.
Christie's first pick lasted the longest.
Yep.
So Jamie's went out first. Mine was second. Yours was third.
Who did I originally pick?
You had Shawnee.
No. Oh, because I didn't pick David. I was thinking mine went out first, and then I was thinking that I had 3 picks. Never mind. You're right. Correct. Shawnee.
You're right. Correct.
I know because I wrote it right here on this little paper.
Okay,
that's
they-
next
He
to
had
me.
it there waiting
But
this
that's the
whole
thing.
time.
By the time her winner's pick went out first, and then it was like, oh, I think I'll snap up Parv. She's doing pretty good.
All right.
She was.
Like,
She was
dang
doing
it.
great.
So
She was
all I
doing
had
great.
all I had left was 3 at that point. I wasn't taking Janine.
Well,
Not happening.
Wasn't taking Janine.
but
Well, guys, I think that we've covered everything we can with this season. It was excellent. We're going to miss JLP so
I'm
much.
gonna miss just talking about it. This was them. I have to tell you, when I got done watching this episode, the happiness I felt inside. It was like a good 30 minutes where I was walking around the house going, "That was so good. God,
Yeah.
that was so good." My husband was like, kept saying, "I'm glad you enjoyed it." But
I was sitting in a car driving across the fields of Nebraska with
looking at the
four
back of a serial killer's head.
with 4 other human beings. I was the only one watching it. I was the only one that knew anything about the show. And so when I was done watching it, I put my phone down
Did you cry a little bit? Did you
and I
cry?
thought, this is how it should be.
Yeah, I grant you, it wasn't my preferred outcome, but it was the right outcome, and
And the
I have a
editing-
hard time arguing with it.
Everything was beautiful. That last episode was just the shots at the beginning that they always do, and the music
And I
how
liked
they
the
score it.
idea-
It's just so beautiful.
I like the idea of, the American players that have played with her. I like the idea of David. I like the idea of some of the people on Traders, like Dan Giesling, who was a co-trader. I like the idea of all of them seeing her
And
accomplish
all of
this.
them- and all of them giving her
Yes.
because they've all
Yes.
yes, she has a very wide footprint of reality people that she's played with. for
Yeah,
all these
I just thought this whole concept was really cool. I loved
She's
the
amazing.
international dynamic. Ooh, there you go.
years.
Um,
That's what she's got left.
super
Her and David
great.
could do maybe her and David could do this.
I would love that. Oh my God, that team would be fantastic.
It would be.
Yes.
Since they didn't get to
So
play together in this. Okay, we're putting it out there in the universe.
fingers
Make it
crossed
so.
that's what we get to see. Or,
All
you
right.
know what? Maybe a Parv and Kirby team. Let's do it. Let's let the
Okay.
girls win. So, okay. Guys, this is it for this season. We do have Australia Survivor that will come up in the winter months. We will be back here for that.
That'll be in the new year, right?
And the new year.
Year.
We are currently covering this season of Big Brother
And
US.
there's some big shit happening
Season
there.
27.
Yeah, I have some big feelings, as does everybody.
And tomorrow, I think everyone is ranting.
Yeah, we will be discussing this. I am actually considering bringing in our fourth occasional member to join us on this because this is a big deal and it's stupid and we all need to complain. But we do cover Big Brother, and there's a fairly good chance we might cover Amazing Race this year because it is all Big Brother alum and family.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I think it might be, I don't know, something different to try. And of course, then we will be here for traders as well.
Yeah.
So it looks like they are casting. NBC is grabbing a hold of it. They're doing open casting for it. So that could be an exciting thing.
Not celebrities. It's going to be traders. Is going to be
NBC
regular
is
folk.
grabbing, regular folk casting. Just your average Joes, though that's a different reality show.
That means that you, just an average person, could see the amazingness that is Alan Cummings.
Who just won.
Emmy award-winning
Yes.
Right.
host,
Amazing.
Alan Cummings.
We love him.
And so very apt, and obviously the best reality TV host in the United States.
Yes.
Even though he's not American.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I mean Jeff is probably like sixth, so good for you, Jeff.
Jeff had his days of being number one. It's okay to roll back.
It was the only show that was on.
He kind of created the category.
It was
It's
before
true.
he was a producer, I think.
That's true. That is very true. But if you enjoyed the coverage on this show,
that's a quarter, by the way.
ding! If you did enjoy the coverage of this, please, I'm not above begging. Please just hit like and subscribe. I know you got a million things to do. You're probably doing the dishes right now or like driving in the car, whatever. Just hit like and subscribe because we love doing this. It helps us being able to continue doing this. It gets the message out to you when we are going to pop up and do surprise episodes. It gives you the schedule because sometimes we move those around a little bit, but we want you to join us. So make sure, like, subscribe, help us build that base. Your feedback means we can do a better show for you. And you can also find us on Facebook, Insta, Tally the Votes, and anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts at the Jay and Jack Whole Enchilada feed. And speaking of Jay and Jack, we would like to give a shout out and a special thanks to the Jay and Jack patrons, especially those who contribute at a certain level. That is Eckhart Rickner, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, Ed the creepy poopy head mailman. And if you feel like you want to be a patron, then go to patreon.com/JayandJack.
Maybe you'll get a cool nickname too. I mean,
You just might. But guys, it's been great. I will see you tomorrow night.
bye.